Tonight on Quinnipiac Live, we'll show you how Quinnipiac School of Communications is preparing students to meet the current demands of the media field, while our faculty are keeping their fingers on the pulse of an ever-changing landscape. Join the conversation. Quinnipiac Live starts now. Hello and welcome to Quinnipiac Live. I'm your host, Joel Vanner, and tonight we have an exciting show planned for you with a variety of guests. Throughout the show, we invite you to join the conversation. Leave your questions for our guests in the comments section below so they can be answered live on air as well as by our students and alumni in the Quinnipiac Live chat. Be sure to like this video to be entered into a drawing for a Bobcat prize pack specialized for the School of Communications. One lucky winner will be selected by the end of the show. I'm joined now by Kaitlyn Murray, a freshman film, television, and media arts major, Rebecca Durante, a 3+1 media studies major, and Michael Bachman, a 3+1 advertising and integrated communications major. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
So let's start off with the first question. Why did you choose Quinnipiac and the School of Communications? Kaitlyn, we'll start with you.
So film and film editing has always been an interest of mine, and I heard a lot about the intimacy of the Quinnipiac classes, so that definitely drew me in. It wasn't until I actually got to an accepted students day in my senior spring that I was actually able to witness, just how intimate these classes were, how much one-on-one time you got with your professors, the software that was incorporated in the classrooms, and I mean that coincided with my love for hockey, the Division I hockey team, and I felt as though I could really see myself, making Quinnipiac a home for myself.
Rebecca?
So I'm from New York City, so for me I really wanted a school that would be close enough to home that I can go home if I needed to, but also so close to such a big media hub as New York, as well as Boston if I wanted a different opportunity somewhere away from home, but still a huge, hub for media.
Michael?
So the majority of my decision to come to Quinnipiac was because of the acceptance into the 3+1 accelerated program. So you get your bachelor's degree in 3 years and your master's degree in your 4th year. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. And just having that, being able to get my master's in 4 years. I mean, no other school seemed to have that. I feel like Quinnipiac was the only school that did have that. I didn't come onto campus until Admitted Students Day, and once I did, we got to talk with the Associate Dean, Dr. Terry Bloom, who is also the advisor for all 3+1 communication students, and she is absolutely amazing. I mean, from Admitted Students Day, she was engaged with all of the freshmen that were there. And just the 3+1 program and the accelerated program, knowing that I can get my master's in 4 years just seemed like nothing else.
Rebecca, I know that you also have a relationship with Dr. Bloom. Why don't you elaborate a little bit more on that? And also, Michael, you live in the cohort housing for your 3+1 program. Rebecca, you lived in that housing, so talk a little bit about those two things.
So with Dr. Terry Bloom, again, like Michael said before, from the beginning, she was just incredible. I mean, I remember receiving a handwritten letter from the former dean of the school with Dr. Bloom's business card in it as well. And I mean, they seriously encouraged you to reach out with any questions. So then when I finally did meet her on Accepted Students Day, I mean, it was just, you could tell right away that she really did care about her students, and she really does want you to succeed. I mean, again, every problem I ever face with her, she always helps me solve it. I mean, I was really torn. I'm interested in the QUNLA program. She definitely encouraged me to pursue that, and she's just been an incredible support, along with the other staff. But she's definitely been a standout for me. And then as far as cohort housing, that's another thing that I was able to, make some really incredible friendships. I was able to meet other people who are also in the 3+1 accelerated master's program as well. So we all had a very similar course load. We had similar professors, similar classes. So for me, it was something that kind of created a really comfortable and, similar environment that for me really helped me to get acclimated to the school.
Michael, and you're currently living in the 3+1 cohort, correct?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts that you're experiencing right now?
Yeah, so going off of what Rebecca said, I mean, all my best friends we all live on the same floor. I mean, we immediately get together, and it's great because we're all communications majors, and we kind of share all those same interests. And another thing that I want to bring up is, as an accelerated 3+1 major, Your first semester, freshman year, you take Comm 101 with Dr. Bloom, and that's all of the 3+1 majors together, which I think is great because you kind of establish your own little niche with these kids, and these are the kids that you're going to be working with pretty much for the entirety of your college career. So living in the cohort housing, I mean, it couldn't be any better. It's a great group of guys, and I mean, not all the guys on our floor are 3+1 communications majors, but it worked out very well, and I highly recommend it to any student who's interested in it.
Michael, you have a love for music, and something at Quinnipiac allows you to express that love for music. What is that?
Yeah, so as a freshman, the first week of school, you go into the involvement fair and the media summit. You get to see all the student media, and as a musician, been playing music pretty much for my whole life. One thing that I wanted to do was get involved in the music scene, and one thing that seemed really like a very good opportunity was WQAQ, the FM radio station here at Quinnipiac University. So went there. They were very, very welcoming. Put us on, you get your own show as long as you are involved in one of their departments, and they have like production, they have a show review board. I am personally involved in the public relations department, and our job is to go out and interview bands, keep up with social media, and pretty much have content on our website for the people to see. And along with that, you get your own show, my show Thursday at 6 o'clock on WQAQ. But I mean, it's great. It's a great group of people. And like I said, you know, anyone interested in music, it's a great opportunity, and they really get your feet wet. I mean, that first week you are on a show, and you can have any show that you can possibly imagine, and it's been great.
Colin, I know you're only in your second semester here at Quinnipiac,
Right.
but you are involved in things on campus. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your campus involvement?
Yeah, so Michael just talked a lot about the involvement fair, and I definitely found that helpful. I mean, I walked around mostly with the incoming class of freshmen, so all of us were out there on the quad, and you know, just a whole line of all these clubs and activities you can join. So I found interest in a lot of the communications clubs, such as Q30, QBSN, you know, a lot of the clubs that can get your foot in the door as far as student-produced, student-directed media. So that's a lot of the sports broadcasting, the radio shows, as you touched upon. So I think that was an awesome opportunity to find out, you know, how can I get involved, and that's a great starting point right there.
Rebecca, how about your on-campus involvement?
So I'm very passionate about sports. I, hope to one day work in the sports industry. Again, being so close to New York, hopefully New York Rangers, ultimate goal. But for me, I decided that I really wanted to join Association for Women in Sports Media, which is just kind of a group of women and men as well who support, us. And we've had an opportunity to go on some incredible trips. We actually went to go to Madison Square Garden, and we got to kind of go behind the scenes. We got to see like what really goes into it. We got to meet some of like the really big people. We got to meet some of the on-air people like Amanda Borges, which was really incredible. So it was really, really great, and they've offered a lot of incredible opportunities for me to kind of explore different careers in, sports media and different opportunities for women specifically.
Don't forget, leave your questions in the comment section below so they can be answered live on air by our guests. As we move into a question from Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn asks, could you elaborate about the coursework of the 3+1 program and how rigorous it is? So Rebecca or Michael?
So I think that I can probably speak for both of us here, that it's really not, it's definitely a lot to manage, but it's not so different from a high school course load per se. A lot of people are like, oh wow, 19 credits, that's, a lot, considering that the average is around 15. But it really is still less classes than your average high school, day. You're not going for the straight 7, 8, 9 hours, however much there is, You have breaks, and it's also classes that you're interested in. That's one of the benefits of 3+1 at the accelerated program, is that because it's accelerated, you need to, kind of get your feet wet in the communications classes right away. So it's definitely something that, continues your interest, and you definitely want to, stay involved in the classes. So it really doesn't feel necessarily like it's all this work. It's extremely manageable. Obviously, some time management is needed. You need to, make some sacrifices, but nothing that was really detrimental.
Well, Michael, I think Rebecca summarized it all pretty perfectly, and unfortunately we're out of time for this segment. So Colin, Michael, and Rebecca, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
Very much.
Come visit our campus. There are so many opportunities for you to see the Quinnipiac community for yourself. For more information on upcoming open houses, preview days, admitted student stays, and more, visit qu.edu/studentslive. And don't miss your opportunity to win a customized Quinnipiac School of Communications Bobcat prize pack, the one I sure wish I could win. Like this video by the end of the live show, and we'll select one lucky winner live at the end of the show. And now I'm joined by Kirby Paulson, a junior journalism major, Brandon Siebert, a dual 4+1 PR and MBA student, and Professor Antoinette Avant from the Strategic Communication Department. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So, Brandon and Kirby, what types of opportunities have you had here at Quinnipiac so far?
So one of the reasons I actually came to Quinnipiac is because Quinnipiac offered an unbelievable opportunity to get involved right from the get-go. I was able to jump into student media. I've covered games at Fenway Park for hockey, TD Garden, Lake Placid. You get these opportunities not everybody's getting. So to be able to apply some of those journalistic values and some of those journalistic skills in real sports situations was a major plus for me.
Brandon, before we get to your answer on that question, we have a question from a viewer. Nate asks, what are the professors at Quinnipiac like, and how do they help and support the students?
Sure. So the professors at Quinnipiac are incredible. Professor Vonk actually was my professor for about, I think, 4 classes in my undergrad, and we built an incredible relationship. And that's not rare here at Quinnipiac. Our professors give us their cell phone numbers. We come and get meals with them, coffee with them. We go over not just the material, but we go over different aspects of our own life. It could be internships, personal things, and you'll get that here at Quinnipiac.
So, Professor Vonk, in what ways have you mentored Brandon?
We actually, I met Brendan in his freshman year when he took the introductory course in public relations. We actually discussed about internships. We talked about projects. Students do have my cell number. They call me, but they mostly text me. And they do come into my office, they camp out on my couch, and we talk about the internship. And I do find myself talking to students in LA on Skype late at night, or even later with students in Europe, mentoring and guiding them as much as I can.
Brendan, I promise I won't call you Brandon again. That was a slip of the tongue. But we're going to move into another question from Anna. And Anna asks, I would love to know how you feel Quinnipiac is preparing students for a changing media landscape. Kirby, I think you're part of student media here on campus. Maybe you could answer that question.
Yeah, so I think what Quinnipiac is doing really well is they allow their communication students to get the full realm of everything that media has to offer, and I think both of the people next to me can agree with that, because what we're doing is we're learning to apply adaptable skills that we can take into the workforce. I took a visual design class, Com 130, communications class, to be able to learn how to do visual design, because a lot of what we're seeing now is everything going digital. You need to be able to have those skills. So learning social media skills, writing for all different types of situations. Even in some ways, learning how to use a camera is important. So basically taking all those adaptable skills, you're able to apply those in the opportunities and the school itself.
Professor Vonk, adaptability is a key word there. How do you see the School of Communications constantly changing to make sure that the graduates from the school are prepared for the changing landscape?
We actually introduce our students to what the profession asks of them in the introductory course. They work in agency format for mock clients, but fast forward into their campaign class, into capstone class, we actually work hard to bring professionals and companies into our classes. So students do learn to conduct research, SWOT analysis, and to propose campaigns for clients. And they actually, at the end of the semester, present that to their first clients in most cases, and the client selects the winner for that campaign.
Don't forget, leave your questions in the comment section below to be answered live on air by our panel of guests as we move into a question from Connor. Connor asks, I'm very interested in covering sporting events for Quinnipiac. What opportunities are there for freshmen to cover the basketball team, hockey team, etc.? Can freshmen do that, or do you have to work your way up the ranks? Kirby, what a question for you.
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about our student media programs here at Quinnipiac is you are able to jump right in. If you come in and you're willing to prove that you want to come in, you want to work, you want to give the effort, you're going to have all the opportunities that you want. Even as a freshman, I mean, like I said, I went up to TD Garden and covered the Hockey East Championship, which is a major hockey tournament for college hockey. To be able to have experiences like that, as long as you come in and you're willing to show that you can put in the work, you're going to get those opportunities. It's very doable.
Kirby, I think one of the best things is that the media organizations here, and this is sports related too, but also generally student media. I'm involved in Q30, and Q30 works closely with QBSN, which is the program that Kirby is actually the leader of. QBSN has a program on Q30 television, and right from my entrance into Quinnipiac, I was able to get right involved and get some experiences outside of the classroom that really I don't think I would get anywhere else, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've had so far. So Brandon, let's go back to your connection to Professor Vonk and the internship that you got as a result of the campaigns class.
Right, so I actually got an internship at Power Station Events, which is a very large entertainment company here in Connecticut. And I got that opportunity through some of the people from the company coming into one of our classes and talking about creating events geared toward our major. So Quinnipiac really gave me that opportunity to go ahead and take advantage.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your dual 4+1 degree, the class load that you have, and how you've been able to manage all of that?
Yeah, so doing the dual degree program, I'm in 4+1, meaning that I take my 4 years of undergrad in public relations, and then I tack on 1 year to complete my master's degree, which is the Master of Business Administration. So Quinnipiac, it gives you an incredible opportunity to be able to do all of that in just 5 years. It's an incredible value. And yeah, it's an experience that I'm very grateful and happy I did.
Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Come visit our campus. There are so many opportunities for you to see the Quinnipiac community for yourself. For more information on upcoming open houses, preview days, admitted students days, and more, visit qu.edu/studentslive. And don't miss your opportunity to win a customized Quinnipiac School of Communications Bobcat prize pack. Like this video by the end of the live show, and we'll select one lucky winner live at the end of the show. Our School of Communications has just announced its new advisory board, made up of highly respected communication leaders, to share industry insights and build bridges for students at well-known companies. With me are some people who are in the process of building bridges from Quinnipiac into their careers. Please help me welcome Brenna Oricoli, a senior media studies major, Gregory Hardman, a junior 3+1 film, television, and media arts major, and Kayla Logan, an alum from the class of 2017 with a degree in film, television, and media arts. What a loaded group we have here. So let's jump right into it, internships. Brenna, where was your internship?
Well, Joel, my sophomore year going into my junior year, I interned at Make-A-Wish Connecticut in Trumbull, Connecticut. And there I did a lot of the promotional campaign events for them, as well as some promotional videos from behind the scenes and at their events. Going into this year, my senior year, I interned at Canada Goose, which is a luxury outerwear company. And I interned at their North America headquarters. Their United States headquarters in New York City, where I did more of a marketing and public relations side of the communications industry.
And Brenna, did you see any skills that you learned in class play a huge role in the internships that you've had? You can talk about your most recent one with Canada Goose.
Sure. So I actually have taken everything that I've learned in my communications classes and put them towards my internships as well as my extracurriculars here. I'm also involved in Q30 and taking those skills and applying them to my internship at Make-A-Wish, where I made promotional videos, and using my interviewing skills that I've learned in classes really set me up for success.
Don't forget, leave your questions in the comment section below to be answered by our panel of guests, along with an alum that we have on our panel today, Kayla. As we move into a question from Genus. Genus asks, can you talk a little bit about the film program course and the equipment available? Also, how is student life on campus, inside and outside activities that students can get involved in? So, Greg or Kayla, if you want to take the question about the film program course and the equipment you have available to you.
Yeah, so the Quinnipiac film program is really well structured, in my opinion. There are we have an entire equipment room basically that the students can access at any time they want, as long as it's open, of course. But right from freshman year, you're using equipment, your hands are on the cameras, and that was probably one of my favorite things about the program, is that they always emphasize just getting you right in there and getting started with it. Yeah, do you have anything?
I agree with her completely. I thought from day one it was an amazing hybrid of the theory and the practice of film, and I think they really integrated those two fields well, and that's really helped me to feel like a competent filmmaker. I don't feel like I'm a full-fledged filmmaker yet, but I feel like I'm definitely getting there.
Greg, you recently had an experience, a documentary style.
That's right.
Feeling like you're a filmmaker. Why don't you talk a little bit about what your experience was?
So I went abroad. There are lots of abroad opportunities, but I was one of the students who went to South Africa over the J term, and the purpose of that trip is to go and make a documentary. So what we did in South Africa, we were there for 3 weeks. For the first week, I went to Kruger National Park, which is up in Mpumalanga in South Africa, and there we were just driving around pretty much 8 hours a day. It was wonderful, it was great. We were in the wildlife, in with the animals, and just shooting videos of them. We got yawning, we got like hippos yawning, lions yawning, we got snakes like in front of the car, but it was all safe, don't worry about it. But it was just an amazing experience, and I'm using a film term here, but as soon as you step off the plane into South Africa, it's like there's a whole different lens on everything you see. It's just, there's a whole different world, and it's just an amazing, an amazing experience just to see that. And then for the second half, kind of the next 2 weeks, we went to Cape Town, and what we did there was we focused on the water crisis, which I'm sure has become mainstream news now. We're making one of our documentaries about that, and that was really, I think that was the most helpful thing in terms of building my filmmaker abilities. I was given the opportunity to be the assistant director of that film. I spoke with our fixer, setting up interviews, conducting the interviews. I'm in the process of creating a blog about the making of the documentary, and I think all those are just like the most important aspects of filmmaking, well, documentary filmmaking, which is a big part of it.
And Brenna, before we move on to a question from Jacob, let's address the second part of that question. How is student life on campus, inside and outside activities that students can get involved in? What are you involved in on campus?
I'm involved with Q30 and Lambda Pi Eta, the Communications Honor Society. I'm president of both organizations, so I'm definitely busy. But I think Quinnipiac has a lot to offer, and it's all what you make of it. I came to this campus for student media, specifically Q30, and I've stayed involved with it all 4 years.
Me too.
Yeah, you too. So I really think Quinnipiac has a lot to offer on campus and off campus. It's just all what you make of it.
So don't forget, leave your questions in the comment section below. We have a talented panel of guests here that are waiting to answer your questions. As we move into Jacob's question, Jacob asks, what types of classes will students take within the film studies program? Do we have a say in what classes we want to take within the major? Kayla, you are probably best suited to answer this question.
I would consider myself pretty well suited. So the film, television, and media arts major is very broad. So you start off with a general introduction to media production course. I don't know if that's the actual technical title, but that's the gist of it. And from there, you have a set of courses that everyone takes, and that's things like screenwriting, like film analysis, and more media production. There's more specific courses with that. And then I believe all of the Bachelor of Arts majors have 1 or 2 electives, so you get to pick another course. Basically, there's post-production courses, there's camera and lighting courses. Personally, I was a Bachelor of Fine Arts major, which means I didn't have a minor, and I just took all film courses. And so I was able to really go into a lot of those electives. So there was multiple different levels of post-production, different types of things like that. And yeah, so you get a broad spectrum, but with courses that really target specific areas of film.
So Kayla, let's just give some perspective to your answer. Now that you're graduated Quinnipiac, what is your career, and how have your experiences at Quinnipiac helped you in your career?
I have been working freelance in film since I graduated, which has been terrifying, I'll admit, but it's been really great, honestly. So I work for all different types of companies around Connecticut, New York, and Massachusetts. And I do film production for small businesses or for bigger companies like ESPN, NBC, all the big names that I can drop. I worked on a reality TV show recently. I just got back from doing an assistant camera job on a narrative feature, so it's everywhere. And my experiences at Quinnipiac helped that, both in terms of I learned what I learned in class with all those courses that I just mentioned, and also though with the people that Quinnipiac connected me to. So the biggest thing for me has been, there have been alumni that I met at Quinnipiac and my colleagues and classmates who have really continued to be my network in my career, and I consider them to be a huge part of why I've had whatever amount of success I've had so far. Yeah.
So Brenna and Greg, let's step outside of the classroom and step back into the campus life here at Quinnipiac. Michelle asks, what's the food like at Quinnipiac? Food, when I hear food at Quinnipiac, I think of the new Starbucks that just opened, the sushi station, but let's hear from you guys on what your thoughts are.
Greg, you want to start?
Sure. I don't know about Brenna, but for me the sushi is a huge plus. I go there at least once a week, and it's so good. I love it so much. The Starbucks, as you mentioned, is wonderful. Quite often busy though, so you need to pick the right times. You know, you need to plan strategically. But I've been very happy with the food here. I'm glad she asked that. That's a very important part of your college experience.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wide variety of food, I'd say. We have everything from pizza to vegetarian options to smoothie bars to Starbucks, as everyone's mentioned. And I've never really had a problem with the food here.
Well, Brenna, Kayla, and Greg, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
Come visit our campus. There are so many opportunities for you to see the Quinnipiac community for yourself. For more information on upcoming open houses, preview days, admitted students days, and more, visit qu.edu/studentlive. And before we leave you, we have drawn a name from all the likes on the video, and our lucky winner of the Bobcat prize pack is, we will contact you, Kaitlyn Norwood. Sorry about that, Kaitlyn Norwood. I left you in suspense there, but congratulations. You are going home with the prize pack I really wanted. Enjoy it, and I hope to see you on campus. And for everyone watching, I hope to see you on campus soon. Thank you for watching.